Leaders underperform because they don't have a stake in the ground. A stake in the ground is much like when Kennedy stated, we're going to put a man on the moon and bring him back safely again by the end of the decade. It's been used numerous times. It's a good one. That's a stake in the ground. Leaders need to make a stake in the ground. They need to be able to clearly define, we're going there, be able to identify it and communicate it. And so that everybody has the same understanding of what that is, where they're going, and how long it's going to take. Second of all, they need a process. Most organizations are people dependent. The key is to be process oriented. And what I'm talking about here is a process around strategy and execution, both. A strategy process where everybody is able to have input, they author the plan, and execution process where everybody knows where we're going, what's important, what do I have to do to make it happen. Third is culture. It's a big one. Culture is nebulous. It's hard to get your hands around it. Leaders like having their hands around things. A culture is nebulous. A definition of culture is what differentiates an organization in terms of values, beliefs, and behaviors from another. It's a leader's job to define, defend, and maintain a culture. Being able to wrap your arms around it, define it, and not tolerate someone breaching it. That's the third one. Another one is every leader has their own unique strength areas. That's unique to them. It's a God-given gift. They're born with it. They develop it throughout their lifetimes. And we find that people are working at their highest level when they're spending about 70% of their time in their natural strength area. It's important that they're clear about what that area is, and they have other people in their organization who have strengths in areas where they're weaker. Another one is that it's very lonely at the top. Leaders don't have anybody to go to in the organization, and it's very lonely at the top. It's common for leaders to wonder, am I the right person right now for this organization? And the fact is, what they don't know is many leaders think the same thing. It's important to have someone at the top where you have a closed container of confidentiality, where you can have a conversation with them, expose your vulnerabilities, and get clarity and focus from them as well. Another area is leading versus managing. It's very common for leaders to confuse managing versus leading. They get too much into the management part instead of staying at the leadership level. And so they need to spend more time understanding when they're toggling between the two and having people giving them feedback so they can shift themselves back into a leadership position. And finally, putting all those together, if you think of leadership like surfing. Surfing is when, if you're surfing, what you want to do is be in front of the wave. The wave pushes you. You can steer yourself, but the wave is pushing you. The hardest part about surfing is getting in front of the wave. What I see in leadership a lot of times are leaders who are paddling very hard for the wave, but they're just at the crest of it, but they're still having to put forth a lot of energy to get over that crest and get in front of it. By being able to follow through on these areas, they will be in front of the wave and be able to steer their own direction.